All right, everybody. LeBron James went on ESPN on a podcast, and oh boy, there's a lot to unpack. And before I say anything else, I have to tell you that you can directly see that ESPN wanted to mend fences with LeBron James. After what happened with Stephen A. Smith, they wanted to mend fences, and this whole podcast was done in such a way that you can literally see it was done to stroke LeBron's ego, but I'm taking everything that he said apart and let's go. Now, this interview was 1 hour long. I have to say a lot of great questions, which I was surprised, and I'm happy about that. I'm going to dissect this interview bit by bit. So stick around as you won't want to miss this, because this is going to be good. But first, welcome. My name is Paul, and this is the basketball show where I talk today's NBA, current events, news, players, and more. All completely unbiased. Even though some people disagree, because any opposing opinion to weak people is always hating. Truth is truth, and I try to stand by it. If I say something that's not factual, and you're going back at me in a comment as a LeBron James fan, state some facts that prove I'm wrong. Don't just say I'm wrong, because that's BS. So just wanted to get that out there. Now, I'm going to let you listen to some of these clips, as there is a lot of great content, but I can't include the video due to copyright concerns. It's an ESPN podcast, so there's audio only for him, and then I'm going to be dissecting it as we go. So let's start it up and get this thing rolling. Here is LeBron James himself, as we constantly compare LeBron James to Michael Jordan, and the debate for the GOAT is constantly ongoing. Let's hear LeBron tell us what is his relationship between him and MJ at the moment.
You and Michael at a good spot.
Who, me and Michael?
Jordan?
Yeah, we're a good spot. We don't talk.
Why not, you think?
Because I'm still playing. I think I'm still playing. I'm still focused on my craft right now.
When you're done, you think you two will be the only two that can have a conversation?
I would hope so. You know, the funny thing is, me and Kobe, besides our, the late great Kobe, obviously, me and Kobe never had a real relationship either. Until we was on the Olympic team. We had a great relationship there. Olympic team 8, Olympic team 12, but it was always competitive between us. We were always like, I was on the East Coast, he was on the West Coast, and it was like, even though we never 9 and didn't beat Orlando, and I think it was 09, didn't beat Orlando and didn't get him an opportunity to play him in the finals, but like, and until I became a Laker and then he retired, that's when our relationship became really, really good.
So this was a super short answer by LeBron, but I wanted to start off with that. LeBron says they don't really have a relationship and they don't keep in touch. He's saying it's in a good place, but they don't really have a relationship. Now that surprised me, because after I saw what the celebration was of the top 75 NBA, they had a hug, they had an embrace, and all that other stuff. I thought these guys talk at least. I mean, why wouldn't you want to keep in touch with MJ? I don't understand that. LeBron gives himself an excuse as still playing in the NBA, and that's not an excuse. I mean, Kobe kept in constant contact with MJ, and MJ was saying it, was talking about it during his speech, at the Lakers forum after Kobe Bryant, died, rip Kobe. But he was saying that he would constantly call him, he would constantly ask him questions, and all that other stuff. He wanted to learn from him. And I don't think LeBron wants any of that smoke from MJ, because MJ was just a different animal with a different approach. LeBron is just not that kind of assassin. He's a totally different person. Now, he did mention having a good relationship with Kobe after he retired, but there's nothing preventing you, man, from having contact with someone and a close relationship, especially someone like MJ that can teach you a thing or two. Unless, you think yourself that you're above everybody else no matter what. And maybe unless MJ is the one that doesn't want to bother with LeBron. as he tends to praise himself a lot and constantly talk about himself and how great he is and all that other stuff. MJ was never like that. He was more humble in that regard. He would never say he was the GOAT. He always praised stars that came before him. He would never say any stuff like that. Now let's go on to the next one.
Okay, let's talk about you flopping all over the place.
Yeah.
That's why people get mad.
Yeah, I know.
Now, why do you do that? Patrick Mahomes does the same thing. He's the greatest of all time for us. In the conversation of the greatest of all time, the rules indicate that if you're to hit him, he gets 15.
No doubt.
Is that the same thing for you?
I wish. Because I am like literally over like the last 5-6 years why everybody's been claiming I flop all the time. I'm like in the bottom half of free throw attempts per game.
Oh, they won't give you the whistle.
You don't get the whistle.
No.
The superstar treatment?
You know the funny thing is, I have a lot of teammates that be like, they come to the Lakers and they be like, man, when I used to play against you, I just think you got every goddamn call and I hated it. And now that I'm your teammate, it's like, oh my goodness, you don't get any calls. I'm like, hey, don't worry about it. Just keep playing.
No.
So here we have LeBron straight up lying to viewers. He straight up lied. Now, we know LeBron flops on a regular. We have hundreds of videos of it. It's not even a question. He also says that he's in the bottom half of the NBA in free throw attempts, which proves he does not flop and does not get a lot of calls and stuff like that, which is a blatant lie. I mean, LeBron knows his stats better than anyone. It's one of the most important things to him. He has all of his stats in his pinky. He knows his points, he knows his assists, he knows everything. Yet he wouldn't know his free throw attempts and what position he's at in the overall ranking in the NBA players, how many he attempts and all that stuff. He said he's in the bottom half of free throw attempts in the NBA. Well, he's 27th overall out of around 500 players. What a load of crap. Next.
You probably lost a lot of trust in media, I would assume, because of the things that happened. Not just what was said on TV, but what it led other people to probably think they should say.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
I mean,
right?
It all started with the decision. The decision really like had me like sit back and like, because people literally like, I give a moment. So the decision, it was brought to me to be able to, do something cool on TV, do a kind of college style. And like I said, never had went to college. I was like, this would be pretty cool.
Put a hat on.
Make the decision, put the hat on, but also, raise $2.5 million for a great cause, and also be able to, make it cool. And the funniest thing is from that moment, it was December 2nd, 2010 was my first game back to Cleveland. So I stay at the hotel, stay at the Ritz downtown in Cleveland. And this one I knew that it was, people did not even really care or didn't even understand the situation. They just wanted to be a part of the nonsense. I hit the elevator to go downstairs to the bus, catch the bus, to go over to, I think it was the Q, the Quicken Loans Arena then. And the elevator opens and it's two guys, random guys on the elevator. You guys can always pull this up. They used to have these FUKLBJ t-shirts.
Okay.
Black t-shirts, red letters. And I see the two guys, they see me, they say, man, we love you so much, man. We're just here for the spectacle, man. We're just here for the spectacle. Like, seriously, we love you, man, and have a good get. And the elevator door closed. I was like,
Those are two white dudes, by the way.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. I didn't want to say it. I didn't want to say it because we're outnumbered right now.
Now we're all this together, brother. We're all this together,
it was like,
brother.
oh my God, man. Elevator closed. I was like, you know what? This is all part of the spectacle, and it's about to get haywire.
So the decision, you think, is whenever the conversation kind of changed a little bit about you?
Yeah, because they just needed something. They needed something. Everything was so positive, and I gave them no reason to. Doing everything I need to do on the court. I'm not out on the streets. I'm not being caught in all the bullshit that doesn't respect the game and respect my craft. It was like, oh, you decided to go on TV and make a decision for your career. We got you. We got it. We finally got it. We finally made a little chink in the armor.
We got something.
We got something.
It's selfish.
It's selfish. Yeah. You selfish mother. Yeah.
And then that caught a little bit of fire, right? Because a lot of people don't like seeing people that are successful in anything, especially if somebody is taking happiness from them and their team, which you were doing, obviously, with the Cavs. And then that just got, you're saying from that moment is when.
Yeah.
Now, LeBron says here, the way this was done was brought to him and he accepted it that way, the way it was done on TV. Now, it was kind of a college style experience and done in a college way. There was nothing college style about the decision. He never went to college, as he said, so he wouldn't even know. What was college about it? Like what? Which part? The millions of viewers? On a player making a decision on what he's going to do with his career? What was college about it? I don't get it. Also, many NBA players have ambitions to finish college even when they enter the NBA. James never had that and never cared to get a higher education. Now, maybe that's why he's always on the first page of every book that he reads when he's photographed with one. Now, raising money for a great cause, which they raised $2.45 million, I believe, for kids and stuff like that. That was a great moment. I give him that. That's the props for that. That was awesome. But I think that was just a backdrop for the whole overall look of that whole decision debacle, to kind of have something to fall back on, as he always does and plans for shit like that. Now, describing the story with the two guys and the shirts and them changing their tune as soon as they saw him is the exact problem with a lot of people and fans. I believe that happened. Most people are willing to sell themselves out and their values and beliefs for a photo or a selfie with a celebrity that they can post online and, wiggle in front of their friends and be on top for a few days. I've talked about that in one of the previous videos, that people treat celebrities like gods and will do literal anything to get a glimpse or touch them. It's stupid and hurts our children seeing us do that as well. An athlete is not a hero. An actor is not a hero. You know what I'm saying? The money made them heroes to people because people lost sight of true life values. Celebrities, actors, and athletes used to be literally clowns, jesters in a castle courtyard, and gladiators losing their lives. Those were the old athletes. Their lives didn't even matter. Today, everything is upside down. A person protecting people, a firefighter, a cop, a soldier fighting for freedom and sacrificing their life or their limbs is a freaking hero. Athletes are just like us and simply put, many times full of themselves to a degree that makes it disgusting. He said the decision was something people needed to hate him. No, LeBron. The decision showed everyone what kind of character you have and how much of a show-off you are, and that you can't really do it in your own town, which drafted you, like Mike or Kobe or Magic or Bird, for example. LeBron quit on Cleveland, which supported him like crazy throughout those first years, and he just left to learn from Wade and Pat Riley how to win, as they had their titles already, especially Wade. Wade won in his third year with an old, worn-down Shaq that was barely squeaking by in the playoffs and was averaging, I think, 10 or 12 points in the finals. And Wade was like 35 points a game in the finals. I have to say I liked LeBron personally before the decision. I liked the guy because that's what I valued. He's in Cleveland. He's the underdog. He keeps fighting. He keeps going at it. That was valuable to people. But when he simply quit, that was it for me and the millions of other people. People were not looking for something to hate him. He gave us something to hate him for.
Yep.
Which leads obviously to you and Stephen A. Hey, legit, that feels like a moment that had been brewing for a long time.
He's like on a Taylor Swift tour run right now.
Oh yeah,
yeah, we're watching it. We're all seeing it.
Oh yeah,
You're seeing it as well.
No, he literally. It started off with, I didn't want to address it.
yeah, sure.
I didn't want to address it. I wasn't going to address it, but since the video came out, I feel the need to address. That couldn't wait to the video to drop so you could address it. It's your ass. Like seriously, it's and like another. He completely like missed the whole point. The whole point. Never would I ever not allow people to talk about the sport, criticize players about what they do on the court. That is your job, to criticize or to, be in a position where, okay, if a guy's not performing, that is all part of the game. That's all part of the game. But when you take it and you get personal with it, it's my job to not only protect my damn household, but protect the players. And I think a lot of the media, including him, and I know he's gonna be happy as hell. He's gonna be smiling from ear to ear when he hears me talking about him again. Oh my God, he's gonna get home and grab ladies on the couch.
I hope at some point you two do get a chance. But you're right.
Dude, relax, bro. Relax. Seriously, just
Now, of course, LeBron makes fun of Stephen A. Smith, and why would we expect anything else from the guy? That's LeBron James. He says Stephen A. Smith missed the point of the conversation, but I think LeBron missed it. LeBron deep down knows he brought this stuff onto himself and his son with his stupid comments and tweets. Saying Bronny's better than most of the cats, as he put it, in the NBA at the moment before Bronny was even damn drafted. Then Bronny comes in, plays in the NBA, and is like statistically one of the worst guys out there with plus minus, field goal percentage, and all that. And don't tell me to compare him only to the other 59 players that were drafted with him. Why should I? LeBron told us he's better than some current NBA players, so that opened that door. He opened the Pandora's box. It's not a problem with you taking care of your family, of course, but putting a spotlight and a bullseye on your son, which everybody's pointing out, and then to be mad about it when he gets criticized and when you get criticized for it because you don't want to go personal. I mean, dude, LeBron will never accept responsibility for anything. Like, seriously. Let's move on. I'm interested in Stephen A's response to this now after this complete disrespectful, childish approach by LeBron. I want to just say Smith never imitated LeBron or anything like that. He never went, oh, LeBron went like this or whatever. LeBron did imitate and make fun of Stephen A. Smith right here, showing how immature he really is. Maybe skipping that higher education in college wasn't the best idea after all again.
How do you feel about the way the game is covered, new players are covered? Because this is a big topic of conversation with the NBA. We have Tyrese Halliburton, who comes through. We love Tyrese.
Oh, he's
the man.
Tyrese loves you too.
Tyrese is great. Love that guy.
So Tyrese gave me the heads up, like, hey, LeBron coming on your show is a massive ordeal because, like, everybody in the NBA, like, does look up, like, LeBron is our guy. Like, I think Pat Beverly told the story down at the bubble whenever everybody was like, we need to take a stand and yada, yada, yada. And then I think he was the person who went up and said, hey, you. We're not playing. But I think that's how everybody in the league feels about you. So congrats on that, by the way. The respect amongst your peers.
No, for real.
Sure.
To have the respect for my peers, that means a lot. And I carry that, man. And I take that with a lot of responsibility because there was too many years went by when players did not have an opportunity to just speak and their voices to be heard or allow the narrative to get so much outside of sports. Like if I miss a game winner or if I don't show up in the finals, like I was supposed to versus Dallas in year one. But like, don't take it to, my household or take it to what's going on and other guys. Like I seen something with Embiid where a reporter came into the locker room and started speaking about like I think his brother or something.
Yeah.
Like how weird is that? Like that's so weird. Like why are we taking it to that point? And we're taking it to that point because people have gotten too comfortable. I think people in the media have gotten too comfortable, especially with our sport. They got too comfortable where, back in the day, like for sure, you would never bring up Charles Oakley's brother.
Yeah.
Charles Oakley will smack you through his brother.
Bernie Maxwell.
All right, yeah, Mad Max. Like his name was Mad Max for a reason. It wasn't because he picked you up 94 feet. It was because if you said something about Mad Max, like he's gonna separate your jaw, and there was no repercussions from that. Like they got to the point where they knew like, oh, these guys can't really do anything to us anymore. Because there would be a fine, suspension, and
and don't embarrass the league.
Yeah, and don't embarrass the league, or you now here come your sponsors. They're coming after us or coming after you, and they're gonna be like, "What are you doing?" Like,
now LeBron talks about the media like they're supposed to bow down to these athletes these days. Yet athletes had gotten more power on their careers and such. But to say players can talk now, really? He says players couldn't talk back in the day, but then gives us examples of Charles Oakley and Mad Max that could talk. So which is it, LeBron? Players were always allowed to respond to the media if there was BS talked about them. Barkley used to do it. That was no problem. Ewing had spats with the media in New York and such. But now, anything the media says that's negative in any way is all a big deal to you guys because you're so damn sensitive. Scottie Pippen said you guys are too sensitive. I believe Magic Johnson said you guys are too sensitive. Everything is offensive to you. Stop being a baby. You're a public figure and you will be talked about like a public figure should. MJ was, Magic was, Barkley was, Ewing was, especially in huge markets. Yet you're all offended and praise yourself for doing something and empowering players. Well, I'm willing personally to bet that future players in the NBA will lose the power and freedom you guys have now because of you abusing it and thinking you're over everyone else. You don't exist. We don't exist because of you. The NBA doesn't exist because of you. The NBA exists because of the fans of the NBA. Because of the tickets being sold, because of the money being made. You're getting paid from those freaking ticket sales and TV deals and all that other stuff. If nobody would watch, what the hell would you get paid for? You understand? Let's move on.
Because that's the new narrative now is like it's a nostalgia issue. Like a lot of people who grew up in a different era of basketball and get introduced to basketball, they're going to like that era regardless of no matter what happens in the future. You've played through what now? 3 years?
Yeah.
3 years?
Yeah.
Back whenever Kuzi was doing no-look pass?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, the first ever no-look pass? Yeah,
cool.
Kuzi.
Yep.
He's a dog.
Hey, he was an exciting white, wasn't he? He was an exciting white.
Sure.
He was one of the
game. Kuz had game for sure.
Boom.
Yeah,
Thank
Kuz
you.
had game.
Yeah, but we're
Kuz had
watching
game.
these highlights, and I'll speak for you.
For that era.
Exactly. Thank you. Hey, you don't have to say this.
Yeah, for sure. No,
I'll say this.
Yeah, game for that.
I grew up in Pittsburgh, so we didn't have an NBA team. So I was more an NHL guy, but I would watch the Lake Show at night because I couldn't sleep. So
Right.
I did know the NBA, but not like I didn't follow it as closely. When I watched The Last Dance, I was watching a lot of highlights, and I was watching people dribble a ball like this. And I was like, I don't know how that works in modern basketball. I think you guys have played a couple different sports. I think there was a Kuzi era of sports where a no-look pass, holy shit. Then there was an era where people were starting to get like nasty. There's some more.
You had some Pistol Pete Maravich. He started coming in and started, getting a little bit nat. But then the ball was hitting off guys' heads and stuff. So they looking at him like, ugh, what are you doing? Like,
never see those lowlights though. Only see the highlights. Highlights are only the bangers survive. Then obviously Jordan comes in and transforms everything. That takes place with you guys, this modern era. Do you feel that? How do you address that?
No. I definitely feel it, and I think we just have to recognize that evolution is just a part of life, man. Like, shit. You look at the Hummer from the 1970s to the Hummer of today. It's like you're gonna be like, okay, you might be nostalgic about it. You loved it in the 70s, but do you really want to drive that every day right now in 2025, you're going to get out the car and your goddamn neck and your back is going to be hurting so bad. Like, seriously, you're going to be hurting so bad. You're going to be like, okay, you know what? This might be just a Sunday chill car. Like, I drive it up the street, get some ice cream, come back home, but I can't.
Refill it because it gets 2 miles per
Yeah,
gallon.
exactly. I got to just start it up, let it just crank the gas for about 2 hours just to make sure it's still running. But like, you know, like, we have to understand that there's players and eras and things of that nature. Like, we get it, but like, you know, you watch some of the NFL games as well from the 70s and the 80s, and you got like, you know, Jack Lambert and those guys like coming through like completely decapitating people. You know, like murder. Ronnie Lott tore his pinky off and then went to the sideline. Was like, just tear the rest of it off. I'm getting back out there. Like I get it. Like, those are nostalgic moments, but like the game is different, and we should respect all eras in that era.
Now, only LeBron can talk about comparing eras and make an example of driving an old Hummer compared to driving a new Hummer. That's supposed to be an example to compare NBA eras. Like, what? You can say players are slower, more skilled in some ways. Not all of them are slower. But check on the three-point percentage league-wide. And in the 90s or whatever, it's not even that different. Like, what the hell? I made a video comparing MJ's speed to Wade and LeBron in a very similar play during a game. It's in a split screen. I'm going to feature the link at the end of this. Well, the comparison is not perfect per se, but actually showed MJ being faster than both Wade and LeBron. Would you imagine that? I bet if LeBron ever sees this, he will say, I missed the point of the statement that he made, like Stephen A. Smith, for sure. He'll blame me for missing the point on his example. I didn't miss the point, LeBron. Your comparison doesn't make any damn sense. Plenty of players right now even say MJ, for example, would absolutely dominate today's NBA. I mean, guys like Kevin Durant said it 4 years ago. That's a current player, a superstar. Says that if MJ came to the league now as a 30-year-old or whatever, he would dominate the league like no one's business. What the hell are you doing comparing the tough physical NBA of the 90s with MJ and an old Hummer versus a new Hummer? Like, come on, bro. That is exactly why people go to college or at least get a higher education while in the NBA. Damn. Shooting 100 threes in today's game, getting foul calls and flagrant calls for the wrong look at someone without even saying anything. That's your evolution? Get the hell out of here. Having anti-flopping rules instated partly because of yourself is positive evolution to the game and the league. Man, some people truly delusional. I'm sorry. As LeBron said, and I agree, the game is different and it's super soft. I mean, Kobe Bryant, I believe in 2016 already, is on video saying that the NBA has become soft and flagrant fouls are called for literally anything these days. Kobe said that. Let's go on to the next one.
Kind of on that note, and one of the things people got on you about was when you went to Miami. You go to Miami. I know some great things behind that as well. Me, lifelong Miami Heat fan, I loved it. But what was it like coming down there, winning your first championship, and what was that kind of load lifted off your back? 'Cause you talk about being amongst the one-name guys. Championships obviously got to come with that. So what was that like going down there and getting that done?
Yeah, I mean, listen, my aspiration was a lot bigger than just, you know, winning MVPs and, you know, being an all-star and, you know, whatever all the individual things is. Before I even got to the NBA, I've always won. Mm-hmm. And it doesn't matter which level you win on. If you're in a winning environment, that shit carries on throughout the rest of your life. My first year ever playing organized sports, I won a Little League football championship that year, and then backed it up with a basketball championship. Undefeated season. My second year, we did the same thing, you know, and I was league MVP in basketball and football. through middle school championships, through high school, I won 3 state championships. You know, like I was just always born winner, and I knew how to win because of the culture that I was around. I knew how it was supposed to be done. And at that moment, you know, my 7 years in Cleveland, I had some good years, obviously some great years. One, was able to take the team to the NBA Finals. I was 22 years old. I had a moment in Detroit where I went insane, 25 straight, 29 out of 30, you know, and took a team that you look back at our roster, you're like, what the hell? How was that even possible?
There's a lot of those, brother. We don't want to dive into all of them. You were at the finals like 45 straight years.
You know what I'm saying? So like, but it got to the point that final season, I was like, I've maximized this potential.
Yeah.
I've squeezed all the juice out of this damn lemon here. And I know it. And in order for me to get to where I want to get to, I have to make a choice for my career going forward. And Miami was the best choice, you know, at that moment. I felt like it was the best choice for me. You know, the conversation I had with D Wade, had with Bosh, had with Udonis Haslem. You know, D Wade and UD had been there. They had won, had beat Dallas. They had been in some big you know, playoff matchups with Detroit, where Detroit beat them and then they beat Detroit, you know, and things of that nature.
I have to say this. Have you ever heard MJ or anyone else talk about their team as LeBron? I have to say this. Have you ever heard MJ or anyone else talk about their team as LeBron talked about his Cleveland teammates? Like they were nothing. He literally said, like, how the hell did you do that? How'd you get them to the finals? Those Cleveland teams may have not been offensive juggernauts. They weren't that bad. But they were top 5 defensive teams or even higher in some years. Like, what are you saying, man? You didn't get there alone. In 2007, the Cavs reached the finals. They were 4th in defensive rating. You were the one that disappeared in that final with a 22-point per game average and 35% from the field shooting. Damn, that takes some responsibility for once. In 2008, Cavs were 11th in defensive rating. In 2009, the Cavs were 3rd in defensive rating and 4th in offensive rating. In 2010, the Cavs were 6th in an offensive rating and 7th in the defensive rating. This is not a one-man team sport. Those teams and players helped you get to those finals and playoff battles. Now, Wade pulled through with a hobbled old Shaq. Damn, Shaq averaged like 12 points a game in the NBA Finals, and Wade destroyed Dallas. In his 3rd year in the NBA, 3rd year, you had 7 in Cleveland, couldn't do shit. Yet LeBron always has made excuses, and he again disgustingly blames his teammates for his failure. Now, this will be it for today's part on this. I'm getting overheated right now. After all this BS that was spoken, hope you like this video, share your thoughts, and check out the videos you see on the screen. Maybe I'll make part 2 of this.